After all the recent fairly bitter and piney beers from the Poland box, we've got this one. This is a Nipkov and it is a light beer. So I'm expecting something a bit more like a nice crisp lager. But what's it going to be like? Check out the review to find out. Let's get ready to rock. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review, and here we are racing through these Beer52 beers. There's a lot of beers, and I must admit the last few that we've had are all starting to sort of slip into the same sort of style. They're very sort of bitter. They've very much got that sort of piney sort of taste, very much on the West Coast side of things. I'm hoping this one's different because this one is, it's called a light beer. The magazine says malty and clean with moderate bitterness, notes of bread on the aroma, a traditional Kolsch style, which is a Kolsch style lager. So I'm expecting this to be a nice, light, refreshing beer. Let's see if we can keep the bitterness just to a minimum this time. Before we open the beer and stick it in the glass, just want to say, as I'm recording this, we've hit 200 subscribers, and I'm just really humble for all those people that decided to follow me on my little craft beer journey. So we've had 200 subscribers since June. I'm really happy with that. My aim was to get there before the end of 2020, and we've got there beforehand. So here's to the next 200. And again, to everyone who's a subscriber, thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the videos. If you keep subscribing, I like to think that you are. Obviously, new things coming, but we're going to keep reviewing these beers. I'm going to start with this one, this Nipkov Kolsch style lager. So let's get this beer into a glass, shall we? Yeah, beer in a glass. It's very light. Quite a lot of carbonation moving up the glass there. We've got a two-finger, pretty white fluffy head. Certainly looks like a Kolsch style lager. Let's get some aromas. Yeah, bready, slightly biscuity, slight hints of lemon in there. You know, like any good lager or pilsner should be. But I'm at that point now where I'm sure it's going to be light and refreshing, and it's just what I need right now. So, cheers, everyone. It's got a lot more body than a traditional lager. It's fairly sort of there's quite a lot of carbonation, but it's still medium. It's more on the side of medium than real true light. There's a sort of a malty backbone to it that gives it a little bit of body. It's very sort of bready. I mean, it's bready on the aroma, but there's a real sort of breadiness about it. It's almost get to the point where it's like it hasn't got the flavours that sort of that wheat beer sort of flavour, but it's heading in that direction. It's off that style. I think it looks great. I mean, it's just the fact that head, it's really sort of compacted and fluffy there. Let's have another taste. Yeah, there's a nice. Sometimes when you got maltiness, if you get too much maltiness, then you hit the bitterness comes. And I wouldn't say there is quite light on the bitterness here, but you've got a nice sort of maltiness that stops it being a very crisp and, you know, highly carbonated like a traditional sort of lager. There's a body to this that gives it just a little bit more than what you would expect from a traditional sort of pilsner or lager. There is a tingling, it's like a tingling of bitterness though. But it's very much in that style of German sort of pilsners. But it's light and refreshing. The body is, as I said, there's a little bit more to the body. The carbonation zips that sort of maltiness around. And there's a subtleness of lemon, but you know, with any sort of lager, you've got to really sort of, try and pick out that sort of lemony, citrusy flavour. With this one, it's there, but it's very, very subtle. It's really nice actually, and after the last few ones that were really bitter, this is a nice, refreshing change. It's a good summery lager. It's very easy to drink. You know, I'm getting through this really quickly here, and I'm pouring it out, and there's nothing actually left in the bottle, so I'm down to that already. It's a great lager actually. I'm enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it quite a lot actually. Let's see if it says anything. It doesn't really say much on the bottle. It's 4.6%. It's by Ale Browar. I didn't even mention that. 200 subscribers. Here's me getting all excited, and I've forgotten how to review a beer. So it's called Nipkov. It is a light beer. It is from Ale Browar. We had another Ale Browar beer. It's 4.6%. What does it say? Even in the magazine, there's not much in it. It just says very malty and clean with moderate bitterness. Notes of bread on the aroma and taste of a clean traditional Kolsch style. Light and golden in colour with a thin white head. Yep, that's pretty much this really. This for me is gone up a step from the last few beers. Whether that's just because I like the style. I had a gold. I want to pronounce it properly. Kolsch style lager before, and I think it was in the Beer52 box quite a few months ago, and I didn't find it that great at the time. So when I saw it said Kolsch style, I thought, I'm not sure I'm going to like this, but actually this is really nice. It doesn't have that sweetness that I do like with some of the lagers and pilsners we had, but it is really nice, and it's a bit different than your normal sort of your normal sort of pilsner or lager. I would say it's light and it's refreshing, but there's a nice little malty bready sort of backbone which doesn't go too deep into being like a wheat beer. Really good. Let's get some scores. Okay, the scores are in for Nipkov Light Beer from the Ale Browar Brewery. Browar Brewery, that's the same thing. Polish beer from this month's Beer52 Poland box. This is a bit different than a lot of the other beers. We had a lot of piney bitterness, but this one is a light, refreshing Kolsch style lager, and it's a nice example of that style of beer. So first things first, aroma. Well, like with these sort of styles of beers, you don't get huge aromas. It's light, it's very bready in terms of the aromas. It's pleasant, but it doesn't do much more than that. I mean, for the style, it's pretty good, but I'm still giving it 11 out of 20 for aroma. Appearance, though, or what's left of it, it's a lovely light, and I think, just look at the lacing is really good. It's got a really nice finger white head that stays all the way down to the bottom of the glass, which is a superb. I just love that in a beer. I don't like beers that just suddenly just go almost like looking flat looking and then just same colour. I like a little bit of foam, a little bit of head. Just think it does more for the flavour for me. So I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. I mean, yes, we've had other beers that I'm only rating 8, like IPAs and stuff like that. But for the style, this is a really good example in terms of its appearance. So I'll give it a 9. Flavour-wise, I think it's a nice example of a lager. It's got a little bit more to it. It doesn't have the sweetness, it doesn't have the bitterness. It's very easy drinking and light, which makes it great, really. I mean, what can be better than a beer that you can drink this and then you could just get another one and drink it? That's the problem we've had with the last few beers that we've had from Beer52. Some of the sort of IPAs, which, a very sort of old school Pacific style, US hopped American Pale Ale, that sort of style with that sort of piney bitterness. There's no piney bitterness with this. It's just light and crisp, but there's a nice little malty breadiness to it without it going too much into that sort of wheat beer style. So for flavour wise, I'm giving it a 33 out of 40. Value for money, same old story, 7 out of 10 for value. For it's a £3 bottle of 330ml beer, a little bit expensive, but it's a nice beer. But still, I can't see beyond giving it a 7. And then overall experience, well, I don't know whether it's because the last few have been, not that great. I mean, I tell you what, the last few, they were right in the 60s. They were Bon Jovi beers, is a spoiler if you haven't watched those. And for me, this is definitely a step up. And overall experience, I'm giving it a 15 because I think for a lager, it's really nice. I've drank it down. I want to drink another one. In fact, I might go into my fridge and find something that's a bit more on that lager style, because it's just what I wanted, and I just feel that I need another one. I like a bigger bottle of that, really. So 15 out of 20 for my overall experience, because I think it's really nice and a big step up from the last few. So we top those up, we get back into the 70s. We're hitting the White Snakes. We're a mid-level White Snake, 75. It's a recommended beer. If you see this one, give it a try. And if you're a Beer52 subscriber and you've had this in your box, this is, I think this is only if you've got the light box you get this one. If you've got a mix, you probably won't have this one. But the way that they sort of swap them out all the time, even throughout the month, you never know. You might get it, you might not. But this one is nice, and I'm interested to see what anyone else thinks. I almost want to sort of try more of these Gulch style lagers. We don't do enough, considering I've come from on my craft beer journey. Pre-June, I pretty much drank lager exclusively, but post-June, I've hardly drank lager. So maybe it's time to get back into the lagers and try something a bit different, because this is a nice beer, and I think 75 out of 100 is recommended. So, till the next one, you know what you're going to do. First, you're going to subscribe, like the post, obviously if you like it, and then keep on rocking.